Today we are going to the Bengals versus Packers game at Lambeau Field, and I am so excited. This is my first time ever at Lambeau Field. It has been #1 on my bucket list for years, so of course I have to vlog this experience for later. We stayed just north of Chicago and decided to drive in because it was cheaper to do it that way. It was honestly such a smooth drive, and we made sure to get to Lambeau early so we could park in the neighborhood nearby. And I would just like to point out that Lambeau really is in the middle of a neighborhood. Even just standing outside of the stadium and seeing the nearby area was such a surreal experience, and I just cannot describe how cool this city is. They've really embraced being a pro sport small town, and they've just executed it so well. Titletown was one of the things I was most excited about for this trip. Call me crazy, but I do want to come here during the winter to experience the true frozen tundra at some point. And of course my husband had to try out the vertical jump. We still hadn't bought tickets at this point because we were trying to get some cheap ones the day of, and y'all, it was a lot harder than we thought it was gonna be. So we ended up going to the pro shop while we kept looking for tickets. We finally found a good deal on tickets and got into the other pro shop. I thought the first pro shop was cool, but the second pro shop in the actual stadium is insane. It's huge and they have everything. I spent way too much money. We went in through the atrium so we could get in early and go to the Hall of Fame. And the lighting in here was phenomenal. Of course, the Hall of Fame was something I've also been looking forward to, and it did not disappoint. It was only $23 a person, which I felt like it was a really fair price for all the history. One of my favorite exhibits in the Hall of Fame was the bicycle tradition. It's just such a cool tradition, and I didn't realize that Aaron Rodgers actually had something to do with it. I grew up a huge Charles Woodson fan, so of course I had to spot all of his sections in the Hall of Fame. And I also made sure to look at all of my grandpa's former favorite players since he passed away last year, and I can't really share this experience with him. I also thought it was super cool to see the Super Bowl trophy and ring for the Super Bowl I watched when I was 11. I also learned that there used to be a team in Columbus, Ohio called the Columbus Tigers, which is crazy because I'm from Columbus, and I somehow never knew that. I have to say I really appreciate how much love Green Bay still has for Aaron Rodgers, because now that he's not with the team anymore, I honestly wasn't sure how much they would have in there, but they definitely pay their respect to him, and I love it. So I hope he comes back and retires with the Packers. Once we finished in the Hall of Fame, we started scouting for some food. Of course, we had to get some cheese curds. We also got some nuggets and then found our seat, but I also got a foot-long hot dog, and my husband got a brat because he had really been wanting a brat. I don't feel like they were anything crazy, but they were decent. A few minutes before game start, they started the intro. It was definitely a lot cooler to watch the intro of your favorite team in person instead of just on TV. I go to a lot of Ohio State Buckeyes games because that's where I'm from, so it was a little funny how different the sizes and teams are because our intros are so huge. I of course had to record Micah Parsons because I'm very excited about him being on our team this year. I'm not always the most patriotic person, but this definitely gave me chills and gave for the coolest scene ever. And I loved these dedicated Bengals fans with the Flacco shirts. We ended up finding out that our seats weren't actually our seats, and we had misread the signs, so we did have to go to our real seats, which ended up being a better view anyway, so it's okay. Matthew Golden finally had his breakout game we've all been waiting for, and it was so cool to see in person. And as per usual, Josh Jacobs ate and had 2 touchdowns in this game. LOL at Matt LaFleur literally icing Evan McPherson for what would have been the biggest kick in history. I may have forgot to mention my husband was a Bengals fan, so I was a little excited for him when they started picking it up and actually scoring. After all, we did drive like 9 hours, so I wanted him to also have a fun time, but I wanted my team to win. But they definitely got a little too close in the end, and I was getting a little bit worried, especially after that touchdown. And shout out to our kicker that we picked up literally the week of this game. He didn't miss a single kick and sealed the game at the end. I feel like I was literally speechless the whole game because of how freaking beautiful the stadium is and just the history. I feel like it's so palpable in the air, you can feel it. Also, just how nice all of the Green Bay fans are. Being a lifelong Green Bay fan, I knew they were nice, but I didn't realize how nice. After the game, I did a little bit of shopping. I didn't buy anything, but I did love these little baby onesies. And then to cap the night, we watched some SportsCenter.